天天在一起，天天用心听，听见台北的声音。FM 93.1，幸福永远属于你。
公民总主笔，
方恩格时间。
谁当家？
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 你当家？
谁当家？谁当家？
谁当家？
当家？我当家？你当家？我当家？到底谁当家？你来当家。
Welcome to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station. I'm your host, Ross Darrell Feingold. Today, our special guest is Summer Chang from Le Sommelier Wine Store in Tianmu. Summer, welcome back to the show.
Hello, everybody. I'm so happy and honored to be back with Ross on air.
Thank you very much. But before we get into the details of what's popular with wines now, especially with the holiday season coming up, we just want to remind our audience, of course, don't drink and drive. 喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒, right?
That's true. 喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒. Now, because it's in, the happy December, so it's all about bubbles.
Bubbles.
Lot of bubbles. Well, personally, I don't drink that much bubbles, but in December is the month you have to drink a lot of bubbles.
Bubbles, you mean champagne, not wine?
Yeah, something with some fancy bubbles, very, very elegant, and very fine, beautiful colors. This is to celebrate for the whole year, I believe.
Even though the year was very difficult for a lot of people, then certainly, it's good to celebrate at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, we always have to celebrate.
Yeah. Now, when you were talking about what you were saying just now about bubbles and color and things like that, I thought you were describing the labels of the wine bottles, not the actual beverage itself. But Summer, let me ask you a difficult question, just to make things very difficult for you. 明天要公投, and whichever side people vote for, yes, no, they don't like it, whatever it is, at the end of the gongto voting, people should maybe have some wine to relax a bit, right? Is that a good way to end the gongto day?
Of course, for me, wine or bubbles is for celebration and also to forget.
Yes, okay. So if you vote for the gongtos that don't win, then it's okay to have a drink after.
Yeah.
And if you want to celebrate, then it's okay to have a little bit to drink as well.
Well, having wine is something, should be part of your life. And no matter you're happy or not happy, and you're celebrating or you are regretting or you're not happy, just open a bottle of wine or a bottle of bubble, then everything is so fine.
I suppose we should be happy that one of the issues in the gongto tomorrow is it's pork and not wine. So at least we're not banning any wine imports, right?
Well, I'm still hoping that one day, in Taiwan we'll have a new law that it's possible to, sell wine online. I know it's been working for a long time, but, it's still not yet.
Yeah, well, we got to protect the consumers from terrible things that could happen with online shopping, I guess. But I thought you were going to say maybe we should have a gongto to ban U.S. wine, since you mostly sell European French wines, correct?
Yes. We are very famous for European and old world wines.
Old world. Now, when you say old world wines, what is that? Which country specifically is that referred to now?
First, it's about France, from Italy, from Portugal, from Spain, like mainly European.
Do those countries ever say, we want people around the world to buy our wines, but please stop calling us old world? Or they actually like this title?
They actually like it.
Yeah.
Like some new world wine-making countries, for example, South Africa. They are in the category of a new world wine-making countries, but actually they have a wine-making history for a very, very long time.
But there's nothing they could do to break into the old world.
Yeah,
group.
so
they're just not allowed in.
Yeah, so actually it's for new world and old world, it's just, they just separate, like European and American, South America, things like, places like that.
Well, let's go back about a year ago.
But they do have very good wines, and we do carry in Le Sommelier in Tianmu.
Let's go back about a year from today. So we'll go back to the end of 2020. 2020 was already a difficult year for the world because COVID started. But if we go back a year, what are some things you thought would happen with wine drinking in Taiwan? So if we were meeting a year ago, what would you have said in 2021? This is something that'll be popular in Taiwan wine or in global wine. What were your expectations for the wine world a year ago?
A year ago, I started to fall in love in natural wine.
Mm-hmm. When you say, what's natural wine?
Natural wines, is another category, like from the vineyard management and winemaking and everything, is natural. There's no artificial thing in the wine. So I guess, after all these years, especially about, before, there's a problem with oil. So now people, they really care about what they take into their body. So natural wine is something, about health. People, they don't want to give up on drinking, but they want to drink, somehow and say, well, this is healthier drink I'm drinking. So natural wine, means there will be much less sulfur added, and which I really enjoy as well. And I see now in the whole world, like even now with French wine, when we import, they have a lot of options. You can choose Song Souv, which is a non-sulfur added, or natural wine. So I think the global market is changing to a healthier view.
So a year ago, you thought the natural wine would be one of the hot products for 2021.
Yes.
And how did that turn out? Did it turn out to be popular?
It's very popular. It's very popular. Like for example, for us, we have to fight. We have to fight with another wine importer to get one brand of natural wine
from France.
From France.
Yeah, it sounds like those semiconductor buyers fighting with Taiwan.
The suppliers.
Yeah, the suppliers to get some semiconductors.
Exactly. So keep on drinking, So they will be making more and more, like natural wine, healthier drink, and or biodynamic wines.
Can you tell us the name of one of your favorite natural wines?
It's hard to say.
It must be. Yeah, you're silent.
It's hard to say, but I really have. Well, I love French wines, but lately, I'm very into a Taiwanese wine called Waystone.
And why is that?
Because they have. I feel very proud because their winery is in Taiwan, and they make the Taiwanese wine really like in the wine, the real wine category. And just a few days ago, I tried their, the new release, which is a Blanc de Moussan, and which is like a bubble, and they use the natural yeast. So something. This is for me is very healthy and very natural, and they try to catch the natural way of winemaking, which I really really respect. And also because I'm Taiwanese, so I fully support Taiwanese wineries, but they are doing a very, very good job.
Well, that's kind of a new trend in recent years, right? If we were talking about this, say, 10, 20 years ago, what, Taiwan wineries? You'd be like,
yeah, and they are doing a very, very good job, I have to say. We should have a drink together next time.
Next time, yeah. Taiwan wineries, will they ever replace French or old world wines or new world wines for the Taiwan consumer, though? And the reason why I ask is we have Taiwan beers for a long time, which are very, very popular. And in more recent years, we have the craft beers made here in Taiwan, which are also very popular. So some of those foreign beers, they really fight for market. And then there's some whiskeys, especially one brand in particular is really made in Taiwan, is very big locally. It's popular.
And, it's so popular. When before the COVID, I went traveling. I could see our whiskey, in some liquor store, and I feel very proud.
Yeah. What about the wine, though? I mean, how, realistically speaking, how big could the made in Taiwan wines become over time?
Well, I guess, it's gonna be a trend because this winery Waystone it's been winning a lot of international competition, but maybe the production is not that big. So they are they really care about every bottle they produce, and when the wine is being delivered to the customer is being very well taken care of. So I think people would love Taiwanese wine. Now people wine lovers they are very open-minded in nowadays. They are willing to try any wines from anywhere. So I believe if they have a chance, if they are lucky to try Taiwanese wine, they will be so surprised and they will be so stunned.
And that's before you drink it, or when you first have that first taste, you'll be stunned. You don't have to drink a lot to be stunned, right? After you drink a lot, you'll definitely be stunned.
No, you have a zip, or even just by your nose, the aromas and the taste, the texture of the wine, you will be so surprised. Because I have to say that before, when I tried Taiwanese wines, they were not so elegant or so international. They were very Taiwanese, either very sweet or the taste is very special. But
you're being very polite when you say special.
But we have to show some respect. Any bottles we have on our table or in our glass. So many people have been working so hard on it. So we show some respect. So before anyway, I think nowadays they improve a lot.
You just mentioned that the Taiwan wines surprised you. Were there any wines this year that, from France or old world wines that you tried for the first time and you were really surprised how good it was?
Oh, this year what I remember is a bottle of white from Burgundy. It's called Chambon Musigny, and the vintage is 2016. It's amazing.
Well, why did you have this, or why did you decide to open this bottle?
Well, that day, a very special customer walked in, and there was some problem with his order somehow or whatever. And I say, I want to drink a nice bottle, and since this customer arrived, and we replaced the order and blah blah blah, and I say, okay, so everything is done, so we should have a drink to like what I said, to remember and to forget, so we had a drink to forget and to remember the moment, we start, our friendship is being connected again. So I was very happy, and the wine was very good, and the bottle did a very, very big job, I have to say. So when you feel alone, I guess you need to have a bottle of wine next to you. You feel not alone.
Well, that's a good point, right? If you do enjoy wine, it's always a good idea to have a few bottles at home.
Yes, maybe not a few bottles a night, but when you have
I said at home, not every night.
But when you have bottles at home, you feel like you really don't feel alone. You go check around, to check the bottles, and when you feel like you can just open it and have a zip. And when you have a friend coming over, to celebrate, now it's in December, so we probably will have a lot of gathering, to celebrate Christmas and maybe the coming New Year. So when you have few bottles at home, it's so easy to share your good feelings, appreciation to people who's coming to visit you.
Absolutely.
So are you coming to visit me soon?
Well, your wine store's in Tianmu. I do consider that a very far away trip. I don't get that far north often.
Let me send a taxi to you to bring you to our store. This is not a problem.
Yeah, of course I'll have to bring my girlfriend as well.
Please do. We've been dying to meet her.
I saw a really fascinating story on international news a few days ago about cold weather earlier this year in the wine growing regions of France and what that will mean for the wine crop. And I hadn't heard this news. I didn't even know that France had extra cold weather earlier this year. But just take us a step back. When is the growing season? When is the picking season? When is the winemaking season typically? What's the cycle in France?
Well, the growing season is the growing season. Is like when they talk about the cold weather. Is when the vine is going to sprout. So when it's too cold, they will not be able to survive. So this is a very big issue for vineyard management. And the growing season, is more like spring. And when in springtime, for the vineyard, you need a lot of sun and also some rain during the day, but it cannot be too humid. So I guess about this news, they mentioned about the cold season in France. It was just telling you, please quickly, when you see 2020 or 2021 wine in the market, you have to stock in your cellar because the price is gonna go super high.
Yeah, so a few months from now, we're going to see that reflected in the prices for 2021 wines. Is that correct?
Yeah, very soon. So maybe in 2022, when you see the wine from this year, then you will not feel. But maybe few years after, you will see the price is really going up. So if you have a good space and you're a wine lover, and I just suggest you to, when you see 2021, just when the price is not too up, you have to buy it quickly.
Was that a problem throughout France, and different types of wines were affected by this cold weather, or only certain regions of France?
Well, I guess some regions in France benefit from it.
How so?
Well, because of the climate change, so some areas are becoming colder, but some areas are becoming warmer. So the warmer places, the wine is gonna be much, much better.
So we heard it here. Climate change is good for some wine growers.
Well, climate change is going to change many things. This I really believe.
Is that something noticeable already in the taste of wines?
Yeah. I have to say yes, because usually you don't see like a bottle of Bordeaux wine, like over 13 degree before, or 12.5. But now easily you find a Bordeaux, which is more than 13.5 or close to 14.5.
And it's all due to climate change.
That's what I believe. Or beside that, maybe it's because of the international market. People are looking for higher alcohol content wine,
including here in Taiwan. I mean, are customers coming in and saying, "Summer, I want higher alcohol content wines"?
Yes, we do.
Yeah,
they believe that higher alcohol content wines means better.
And what do the experts say? People such as yourself who are very knowledgeable about wines.
Well, thank you, Ross. I wouldn't call myself an expert. I'm just been working in the wine business for a long time, and everybody likes different wines. But for me, when I choose a bottle of wine, if it's over 13.5, I will not choose it. I'm looking for something not too heavy, so I can enjoy it better. And for those people who are looking for higher alcohol content, maybe they can drink a lot, or maybe they have more like an event, with a lot of people. So with this kind of wine, the cost will go down. That's what I see.
But is that any more unique to Taiwan wine consumers? Do they, compared to, for example, wine drinkers in other countries? Are Taiwan wine buyers, do they want the higher alcohol content compared to other places?
For collections, maybe not, because for all the wine collectors, they are always going to Burgundy or Bordeaux. So for those looking for higher alcohol content buyers, they just like to have the taste, which is richer, which is rounder, which is spicier. Maybe to go with the Taiwanese food, I guess. But for me, usually the wine collectors, they are going for Burgundy, which is below 13 or 13.5.
Okay, you just mentioned food. When we come back after a short break, we'll talk about some wine pairings and what Summer Chang from Le Sommelier is recommending for those holiday parties. You're listening to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station.
Wow.
如有长照服务需求、长照特别扣除额问题，请拨打1966长照专线，5分钟内通话免付费。一通电话让长期照顾管理专员协助申请长期照顾服务及解答长期照顾特别扣除额相关问题。以上内容由台北市政府卫生局提供。
人多，应酬喝酒不过量，安全回家最上道。爸爸，要平安回家哦。
喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒哦。让我们一起尊重生命，拥抱亲情。
亲爱的朋友，您还在吸烟吗？快拿着健保卡到戒烟门诊或拨打戒烟专线0800636363。提醒您，最近兴起的电子烟、加热烟，因为没有浓浓的烟臭味，就被认为无害。其实已经证实，新兴烟品都有二手烟及三手烟的危害，甚至还有爆炸的风险。我是义工蔡依林，所有烟品都 get out。我拒烟，我骄傲。
大家好，我是奥运举重国手郭幸存。举重不是硬碰硬，而是找对方法去面对它，就跟防疫一样。面对疫情，我们可以扎稳基本功，勤洗手、戴口罩，维持社交距离。面对未知，我们可以谨慎以对，主动查证讯息，避免恐慌。让我们团结抗疫，一起为台湾拿下防疫金牌。台湾加油！
有政府，请安心。以上广告由行政院与机关署提供。
谁当家？
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 你当家？
谁当家？
谁当家？
谁当家？我当家。你当家？我当家。到底谁当家？你来当家。
Welcome back to Residence Messenger on Taipei Broadcasting Station. Our guest tonight is Summer Chang from Le Sommelier Wine Store in Tianmu. And once again, we remind our listeners, 喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒. Do you have a different way of, is there another way to say that, Summer? What do you tell the customers in the wine store to remind them not to drink and drive?
Well, we follow the government regulations, so I say the same thing. I say something different than yours. Mm-hmm. Do you need me to call someone to drive for you to get back home? May I call you a taxi home?
So you routinely ask that of the customers?
Yeah. I think safety is very important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one thing that's great about your wine shop is you do encourage customers to open up a bottle right there and have some wine.
I would prefer to put it in this way. We encourage people to enjoy life.
Yes.
Not just to open a bottle of wine, they have to enjoy as well.
Well, people will be opening bottles of wine in the coming weeks because it is Christmas and then New Year's Eve. So tell us your number one recommended wine pairing for holiday season 2021.
Well, for the holiday season, now in December, I guess, we have a lot of gathering, a lot of dinner. So I would say a nice bottle from Bordeaux, which is not going to be too expensive and can go with, the gathering dinner, some heavier food. Because now it's also December, it'll be, more hot than other months. And if you have higher budget, then maybe you can go for a nice Burgundy, which is also very pleasant and everybody will enjoy so much.
When you say heavy food, which foods did you have in mind?
Well, like a lot of steak, like roasted ribs or barbecue ribs, or like a chicken roasted on your dining table. For me, that's very heavy.
And a very typical holiday.
Very typical
holiday meal. What about for desserts?
For dessert, I think for dessert you can go simply for, if you go for a bubble, a champagne or sparkling wine will never go wrong. Or you can choose some aromatic varietal, like some white wine from Alsace or some wine from New Zealand or some fortified muscadet from France, Rhone Valley. It will never go wrong.
What happens when a customer comes in and says, I'm going to a holiday party. I don't know what kind of food they're going to serve, but I think I want to bring some wine. How do you help them?
a bottle of champagne.
Always the safer.
Yeah, it's always safe, like in December, if you're going to a party and you don't know what you're going to have, a bottle of champagne, is very, very safe. Because everybody can enjoy champagne. And actually champagne, you can go from aperitif to your main course and to your dessert. So, it cannot go wrong.
How many bottles should they buy, though? I mean, I'm joking, but I'm also serious, right? So it says, Summer, I'm invited to a holiday party. I don't know what wine to buy, or I don't know what food they're going to serve. And you say, buy champagne. Well, what's the appropriate amount of champagne to bring to the party?
Well, usually, usually they will get a bottle. But, some people, they might want to have 2 bottles. So they might have 2 different kinds of champagne, or they have a bottle of champagne as a aperitif, then another bottle of red wine to go with the main course. Maybe he or she is a meat lover. So like when you go to a party, you also want to enjoy your wine with the food as well.
What about with Taiwanese food? What if somebody says, Summer, I'm going to a holiday party at somebody's home. I know for sure they're not making Western food. They're making local style food. What are some good wine pairings this year?
Well, I think Taiwanese food can, it's also very rich. Can be rich in on the palate. So, like some Cabernet Sauvignon, some Shiraz, and some for region, maybe Rhone Valley, which is not too expensive and everybody can enjoy. And Burgundy is something you can never go wrong with that.
It's always the safe option.
Yeah.
No matter what kind of food.
Yes. For Taiwanese food is quite safe.
What about for other cuisines besides Western cuisine and Taiwanese cuisine? Let's say Japanese cuisine, for example. What's a popular pairing this year?
Oh, for Japanese cuisine, I would say, like champagne is good, and some white wine, and some light body red, like more like Burgundy red.
What about for the staff holiday party? If an employer is hosting, something like a Weiya, these kinds of year-end parties, what's an appropriate wine to serve to the staff? So people have a good time, but they don't get too crazy either.
But I thought for the staff party, they want to see the staff being crazy. No?
Well, sometimes those employers, they don't want to spend too much money either, right?
Oh, okay. So if there's any budget concern, I think go for what? In our store, I would recommend first, the Rhone Valley wine, because the alcohol content is higher, and it's a blend, and the taste is richer and rounder. So most of the people, they will enjoy. It's not like Burgundy, which is a bit too thin, and the body is lighter, and maybe higher in acidity. So Rhone Valley wine is also a very safe option when you have a big party for your staff party or for Weiya, for any more people's event. Or some Spanish is also good too.
You talked about wine pairings for like a holiday dinner, but what if it's a New Year's Eve party? There's no food, or there's just going to be some very light food because you're probably going to get to your friend's place at 11 o'clock before the countdown. What's popular this year just for New Year's Eve countdown events?
I don't know if it's so popular, but this is the tradition. On the 31st, you drink only champagne. You drink champagne from the afternoon till the midnight.
Well, that might be a little bit too much for some of our listeners, right? You start in the afternoon and go all the way to... You might not be awake by the time midnight comes around.
For example, if you have an afternoon time with your friend, and in the evening you have a dinner with another group, and for sure you're gonna celebrate the countdown with people you love the most. So they might be, on Chinese New Year's Eve, you might have 3 events.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying you should do the same thing on December 31st?
So anyway, for us, like 31st, we drink a lot of champagne, to celebrate. And also we like bubbles. And my experience and from work and personal consumption, drinking champagne will make you just happy and it will not make you being wild.
What about the next morning? Headache?
No.
That's one of the benefits of champagne.
we can say that too. But anyway, now in December, it's just, the bubble month. A lot of people, they're coming for bubbles and they need a bottle of sparkling or champagne, just to celebrate.
Have people started coming into the store to buy for December 31st, or it's still just a couple of days early and they don't think about this until maybe the final week of December?
Yeah, they wait for the final week.
Wait on the final week.
Now we see more people start to prepare for Christmas.
Okay. But there is those supply chain issues this year, right? Do you have any difficulties with some of the products that you would like to have had in the store this year because of, we talked about the cold weather in France, and then there's obviously COVID. Have you had trouble stocking any specific brands that you wanted to feature this year?
I think we were lucky because we placed the order a bit earlier before it really got worse in Taiwan. So we had all our order and shipment arrive on time. But now lately, when we want to order something, they start to mention about the price raising and for forwarding issue. So I guess
this will be a problem for Valentine's Day, is what you're saying.
So buy now. But it should be okay.
Yeah, for Christmas and New Year's, it should be okay.
No, but for the Valentine's Day, I guess maybe now, because anywhere you go, people are quite nervous about the COVID situation, and a lot of people, they cannot go to work, or they are sick, so they have a much higher cost about the manpower.
And people are staying home and drinking more wine too when they work from home?
I don't know. I should not be saying that. But because of the COVID, our business is still working okay. We mainly have a retail store in Tianmu, and our B2B customers are not the main players in our business. So for the COVID, we are okay. But because of the COVID, we try to we try not to talk too much to customers. So we start to, to make some combos. So it was very funny. That's the first time I experienced in my life in a retailing business. People, they walk in, they don't talk, they just point, which combo they want. And we say, okay, then we deliver. So,
but as you mentioned earlier, part of the experience of shopping for wines, and also because the proprietors of Le Sommelier are such nice people, Summer and Gregoire, very nice people. Part of the experience is maybe to try some wine while you're in the store, but you couldn't do that earlier this year.
Yeah, during the COVID time, we couldn't do it, and we didn't want to do. We want to respect what the government tells us.
Obviously, yes, of course. Let me ask you another tough question, Summer. When people wear a mask, as they often have to do still now, even in Taiwan in certain situations, what is the effect on the taste of the wine? I mean, if I have a mask on, I remove the mask to sip some wine, then I put my mask back on, does that change how it tastes?
I guess it doesn't. But when you're tasting some wine, it's also about how you feel. So I believe, if you have to take off the mask and zip and taste, then put back the mask, it's already like, for me, I would say no.
It as we would say in English, it detracts from the experience.
Yes.
Right? It turns what should be a positive experience into a negative experience.
It will not be so negative, but it's something, you lose some pleasure.
Something's lost when you have to take the mask on and off while sipping wine.
But in the shop, when we have some customers, coming to taste some wine, I still, I don't think it's so strange. I still respect that, they are willing to do so. Yeah. To protect themselves and also to protect the store.
When do you think you'll be able to travel to Europe and to go to the vineyards? Because that's part of what you need to do as well as someone who sells wines, right? You need to travel, and whether trade shows or visit vineyards.
Visiting the vineyards is something I miss so much. To be there, to see, what they're doing, their passion, their love into their vine, their vineyard, and the wine. That's something I miss so much. And I guess next year, maybe Christmas time.
It'll be another year from now. It's a long time away.
For me, I guess it will take another year. I mean, for me, because I'm very concerned and very careful on the COVID story. So I guess, when when things are getting better, then it will be next December or November, I will try to travel again.
Are you allowed to deliver wines to COVID quarantine hotels in Taiwan? If someone calls you up and says, I'm arriving in Taiwan, I'm going to quarantine in a hotel, and I want you to send some wine over.
Well, we do have some requests, for that. But first, we will call the hotel and say, we are a wine supplier, and we receive an order, and are we allowed to deliver? If the hotel says okay, no problem, then we'll deliver. But if they say no, then we will call back our client and say, sorry, we are not allowed to do so.
Well, why would a hotel say you can't deliver? It's like delivering any other package to the hotel.
Well,
they don't want the guests drinking too much wine in their room.
I guess they don't want any accidents. You can imagine, you're locked in a room, for before
2 weeks.
14 days. And you got nowhere to go, and if you stay and you keep drinking, we are smart drinkers, but maybe some people, they are not that smart, so they just try to avoid some troubles. I believe so.
That's really interesting. So the important thing here is if someone is returning to Taiwan and they know they're going to be in quarantine and they know they like to drink wine, they better check that they could get a delivery.
It's true. That's very true.
Do you send them some wine glasses as well to the quarantine hotel?
No. But when we have some orders to be sent to the quarantine hotels, and we also offer some snacks, to go with the wine and
some pairings.
Yeah, yes. We are still very professional.
Yeah, well, that might be better. I'm sure the customer would prefer that than pairing it only with the hotel food, the hotel meal while they're in quarantine.
Well, I guess during the quarantine hotel time, then you just need to have some touch. You are still in touch with the rest of the world.
Well, like you've said several times, drinking wine or just sampling wine, it's about being happy and looking forward, right?
It's true. I guess you need some wine to feel more relaxed and happier during your quarantine hotel period. But we never know. But because some people, they might not do it so well.
So it's in addition to don't drink and drive, right? 喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒. We'll remind our listeners again. We should also remind the people in the quarantine hotel to drink responsibly. and I'm sure the hotel feels the same way.
Yeah. But we never know. So I respect the hotel's decision. You know, if they say no, you know, then
you don't try to sneak it in by calling it something else.
No. Because you know we don't want to do things that we don't. You know, I don't want to do things I feel guilty. So if the hotel says no, and our client choose the hotel, then so respect your choice, and respect that.
We talked about Christmas and regular New Year, but Lunar New Year is coming up as well. Is there a different wine pairing you're recommending for Lunar New Year? Because it comes early next spring, right? It's a little early Lunar New Year. What's a wine pairing you're going to be recommending for Lunar New Year?
But actually, you know, for Lunar's New Year, there will still be lots of Bordeaux and lots of Rhone Valley wine. You know, lots of full body wines. You know, because you know it's gonna be like the weather is cooler and the food is richer, so they need some full body wines to enjoy. And there will be a lot of people, so it's really okay. You know, if you choose a bottle which is like 15 alcohol content, something
a bit more,
a
bit more than usual. That's okay for Lunar New Year.
Because you know easily, you know, it will be a dinner with 6 to 10 or 15 people. So you know, you just have something like that. You're not going to finish a bottle like that. But you know, if it's about sharing, then it's fine.
What about thinking about for Lunar New Year especially? Should you be looking at whether or not the wine is going to be lucky? You know, everything about New Year, it's like about being lucky, auspicious, red envelopes, right? Are there any wines that are for good luck?
Oh yes, talking about that, you know, beside the appellation, you know, they like. And they know. They also like to check the label. If the label, you know, it looks, you know, like very red, very luxury, you know, they believe that during Chinese New Year, you know, is a good bottle to drink to bring good luck.
Yeah, so that's very important for Lunar New Year, but not for the Christmas or the regular Western New Year, December 31st wines.
No. Well, I guess, you know, because for Christmas or New Year's Eve, you know, if they want to have that kind of feeling, they decorate the bottle.
They put some ribbons on.
Yeah, yes.
Like, but you don't do that for Lunar New Year. For Lunar New Year, just rely on the
you know,
the red label.
It's very busy, okay? So, you know, they want to have a bottle. The label is ready for, you know, the label is ready there. You know, they just need to open and put it on the table and take a picture and say, wow, you know, this dinner is gonna bring us a lot of good luck. We're gonna be so healthy, and the coffee time, you know, is soon gonna be over.
Yes, hopefully.
You know, we're wishing for that.
I'm sure everyone is. You also still have a live stream show on Facebook.
I do.
How often do you have your show?
I just did one last night.
And what did you feature?
About my favorite natural Taiwanese wine.
Well, you really love these Taiwanese wines.
You know, because the wine is so good, I had to wait to a special moment to open a bottle, and it was so beautiful.
What was the special moment? Would you like to share it with us?
No. You asked the question and I answer. Maybe not.
No problem. What are some of the more popular products? So, you know, a product that you talked about on the live stream, and then customers really came into the store and they bought it and they liked it. Can you give us some examples?
Oh, okay. For example, now is in December, so you know, it's the time to drink some Van Shou mood wine. So I also mentioned on my live stream, and people, they start to come and get the package, because for Van Shou you need to have a package about some spice, you know, to boil with the wine, and maybe they are not wine maybe they don't drink so much wine, but for around Christmas time, this is the tradition.
Yeah, very popular. Probably.
Yeah, very popular.
Yeah. So did you show people on the live stream how to make this? Did you demonstrate?
I did before, but talking about that, I will do one very quickly.
What's the date? You want to give us a preview?
Will you be joining me?
I'll talk to my girlfriend, see if she wants to come up to Tianmu to watch the demonstration.
Yes, and she can also be in the show.
Okay, so what's your website or your Facebook for Le Sommelier in Tianmu?
Oh, the website?
Website or your Facebook?
Oh, we do have a website. It's www.sommelier.com.tw. If you're interested into some wines and you want to discover our selection, go to our website. If you want to see what we're doing in Tianmu and what people are doing in our store, please go to our Facebook, which you can find Le Sommelier Tianmu, and in Chinese is 天母勒索门粉丝专业. Then you can find.
Terrific. Well, thank you so much, Summer from Le Sommelier, for coming in today. And
it's always my pleasure, my Ross.
Yeah, and telling us about those holiday wines. Any one final thought about wine you want to share with the audience?
Drinking wine is a pleasure of life.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. And once again, drink wine, but don't drink and drive.
喝酒不开车，开车不喝酒。希望很快见。
Thank you.
See you. Have a nice weekend.
You too, Summer. Have a great weekend.